Stay-at-home mom here. Day 2 of my 3-day reaction video streak. So I'm back with a video that has been requested that I react to by MK. I'm reading this, yes. MKA17 _ I think that's it. I think the dot
is the YouTube, not his or hers. I actually did not check their profile, so they're screaming.
Anyway, I am reacting to what they suggested, which is, I almost said it. Let me move myself out of the way. Dun, da, da, da. I'm gonna have to think of something new to say to reveal another jingle. Maybe I'll make one. But yes, Nick Fuentes exposes Tucker Carlson again. I could not find the original. I looked everywhere. I don't know what this again is about, but we'll find out. I'll find out. I am probably living under a rock. I don't know what happened here, but when I was trying to find this video, I've seen Tucker Carlson before. I think in one of those debates that I have reacted to with Candace Owens, featuring Candace Owens. I think that's where he may have been, that I saw him, because I know the face. Call me stupid. I hope he's not like some big political figure. But anyway, before I begin, I thought I would reintroduce myself because I have a few new subscribers here. Yes, I am a stay-at-home mother of 2 twin Tarzan twins. Oh my gosh, I am drinking agua. No Coke. No Coke for the caffeine. No coffee, no Monster, no Ghost, just agua. So I may have a little bit of brain fog. And it took me a while to find this video, so I'm kind of burning out. Should make things interesting though. Anyway. I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 Tarzan twins. I have no life. I don't socialize. I don't have time. I can't even
think about anything extra other than filling up the day for my boys to keep them busy and make sure they have a good sleep. So anyway, even if I wanted to, I live remotely. Everything's an hour away.
I live in Canada.
So if you know the situation here, it's not very social friendly right now. We're choosing, do we want a roof over our heads this month? Do we want to be a little hungry or very hungry? Or that's pretty much, that's it. There's no other options. Like, we're down to keeping a roof over our heads or eating. So I stay home, and this has become my way to socialize with all of you guys. And I didn't expect to get such feedback and spark so much interest that, yeah, it's become a thing.
I'm doing this 3 times a week now.
And I started watching like Love Island, stuff that I would watch with my girlfriends back in the day on Thursday night at Rosin's house, and we would just sit nights and just chat. So I just going to Rosin's house, watching Bachelor, doing what I'm doing with you guys, and it's fun. You guys actually take the time to comment. Thank you so much. And yeah, that does what I enjoy. It's enough for me. So yes, thank you. And yes, you guys are suggesting reactions on me, so that's cool too. This is fun. And yeah, I guys are going to we signed up for same against 10 against them in toxicity today. Feminist, minority feminist. I don't know, also conservatives, like start some good vibes with the conservatives out there. And
yeah, I guess that's what I'm meant to react to, because it's coming up a lot. That I react against modern day feminism, toxicity, and yeah, just anything dating related, relationship related. I do challenge myself a little bit with politics, so this might be something. Might be cool. Anyway, I guess we should dig in. Alright, I know nothing about this guy. I just know he got canceled, and I found that out in the middle of researching, finding, is my shirt dirty? No, it's just my computer screen. Yeah, I just found that out in the middle of searching this video up. It was not easy. So if you guys have a reaction video for me, please, 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 I beg you, give me the link, because I don't even know if this is exactly what you requested, but I did my best. And yeah, comment if you disagree, agree with me. I love how sometimes I ask questions because I'm unsure, and you guys actually pick that up and like help me, and you answer. So I really thank you for that as well. It's just, I'm having so much fun, okay? Thanks to you guys. All right, let's start this.
Your dad was CIA. Are you
Whoa,
lying
whoa, whoa,
that
whoa.
you...
What did I miss?
What else are you lying about? If you lied that you didn't know your dad was CIA, are you lying that you are CIA, or the extent of your cooperation with CIA? That was a natural question. But we did more digging over the course of the last week, and we found about half a dozen other clips that Tucker knew and said publicly that his father was involved in the CIA. So I'll play this compilation for you right now.
Last night, Nick Fuentes debuted his follow-up show on Tucker Carlson, where he not only carried upwards of 50,000 live viewers, but continued to expose Tucker to such a degree that Nick even said that putting the show together was giving him second thoughts.
I seriously, when I was putting together this show, I started to get a little bit afraid. And I started to think, maybe I shouldn't go through with it. Maybe I should not do this show. Because in revealing a lot of this information, although it's all out there.
I feel him, because I feel like that with my reactions, because they're conservative and yeah, Catholic, because I'm Catholic, and Catholic is so uncool right now. So I know how he feels, but his is far more serious because he's dealing with CIA.
All this information is public. You can find it on Wikipedia.
Around here, it's not a patio, it's a patio. Oh, I love those chairs.
My name is Lise Richard, and I am the owner of Tofino Hot Sauce Company. I make
public sources, to bring it to such a large audience, to tell it in such a compelling way, and to bring together the information in the way that I'm going to, it just might be challenging to the powers that be, their modus operandi, how they're operating, the manner of control, and their ultimate objectives. So it's with some trepidation that I'm bringing you the results, the evidence that I trudged up in my investigation of over the course of the last week. And so we're going to begin now.
One of the first angles Nick draws attention to is that the tactics have not changed, and the line of attack against him currently is exactly what the neocons did to Pat Buchanan.
George H.W. Bush, again, from Yale College, from Skull and...
Holy shit, his hand is freaking me out. Why is it doing that? Look at that thumb. I thought they were doing something funny. Let's go back. I thought they were doing something funny with his thumb. Like, you know, just morphing it just for the effects of like, he's melting, he's going down the drain. But that's him. What? I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. No, this stuff gets to me.
Not changed, and the line of attack against him currently is exactly what the neocons did to Pat Buchanan.
George H.W. Bush, again, from Yale College, from Skull and Bones, George Bush, the vice president from Yale, from the CIA.
I can't focus with those hands. Stop waving them.
Who became the president, brought us to war in Iraq at the behest of the neocons. Pat Buchanan, Joseph Sobran, Sam Francis, Russell Kirk, the traditional conservatives rise up and say, this is not America first. This is a war for Israel. Capitol Hill is Israeli-occupied territory, and so is the conservative movement.
That's the truth.
And the reason they're supporting the war is because they're Jewish. Pat Buchanan challenges the incumbent president, George Bush.
This is what I don't understand is like Charlie Kirk, how much he defends Israel, and even that guy, Morgan Pierce, the one I reacted to earlier. I want to say Pierce Morgan, but isn't that an actor? You guys know who I'm talking about. Like, they have Morgan has so much logic behind his debates and arguments, but it just like all flies out the window when it comes to Israel. And then I think it was my husband who told me that he's actually funded by like a Israeli media company, so he can't say anything bad. But it's just so crazy how it's like, yeah, like his opinion is not his, it's like owned. And like, God forbid he says something negative, but it's just like so obvious at like once he told me that, I'm like, yeah, like there's no way you can agree with Israel and their attacks. I'm sorry, but if you're involving children, innocent people, like this is why I have a hard time even like hearing about soldiers in America going into combat, even in, like people going into the army. It breaks my heart because you're pretty much doing something you find heroic and loyal, like you're sacrificing yourself for your country, but the government's using you. Like, it brings me to tears to just imagine that you're just like a pawn in their war, but you're doing such a, like you're ending, like, I don't want to cry. I just remember watching that 9/11 documentary and how they would go into these like low income neighborhoods in America and kind of brainwash people thinking like, hey, if you go into the army, you're going to be paid. You'll be able to go to college, get a good job after this. But like, what are they trading this off for? Their lives. Like, they might not even, like, there's an extremely high chance they won't see college. So I hate wars. I wish the government would just sort their own shit out and stop using innocent human beings and stop thinking, like making them think, I'm going to sign up for this so I have a better future. This is my only way. Oh my God, I can't even. And then we thank them for their services. Boy, do we ever. I just wish they were never in that position. And then Israel is now bombing and starving children. It's so wrong, evil. And why do these people defend that? Like, you're so up Israel's ass. It's crazy.
In 1992, in the Republican primary.
And I find Israeli people extremely kind. I was in Japan. I met a brother and a sister from Israel, and they like invited me to Tel Aviv. They were so warm and just hospitable, and just, I've never been to Israel, but like just hanging out with them at the bar. And my school friend, she's a twin. I don't really like her twin. She's kind of mean. But this twin, she's half Israeli, and they're just like such calm people, but their government sucks.
And almost wins in New Hampshire, gets a surprising amount of support, and threatens to fracture the movement by serving as a spoiler in that GOP primary in 1992. Buchanan inspires Ross Perot to run as a third party. And some people blame Pat Buchanan and Ross Perot for George Bush's defeat in 1992. Does this sound similar? 8 years later, Tucker Carlson comes out and says what? It's okay to criticize neocons and their wars. It's okay to criticize the Israel lobby. It's okay to talk about the sovereignty of the military. He said what's beyond the pale is this insistence on talking about Judaism, saying that Jewish Americans have to support Israel, saying that non-Jews will die in wars that Jewish push America into. He said that is what is truly anti-Semitic. That is beyond the pale. This mirrors exactly the situation right now, which is that the Israel lobby once again is pushing us into a war in Iran. Who is Donald Trump's vice president right now? J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, who went to Yale.
Love him. I love his story. He needs to be the next president.
Law school. Who is a...
But with all this, like, Trump scandal, Epstein, everything, he's gone so quiet. You don't really hear from him. At least not here in Canada.
Protege of Peter Thiel, one of the CIA's most important contractors because he built Palantir. And as we talked about last week, J.D. Vance would not exist, would not have had a Senate seat, would not be Trump's vice president without Peter Thiel and actually Tucker Carlson. So just as then, George Bush, head of the CIA from Yale, vice president under Reagan, becomes president, puts us to war in Iraq, as it is now. J.D. Vance, protege of CIA contractor Peter Thiel from Yale Law School. Trump is pushing us into war with Iran at the behest of the neocons. I get up in 2024 and say, do not vote for Trump. This is Israeli-occupied territory. The only people that want a war in Iran are the Israelis in their amen corner. And just as in 1999, what does Tucker Carlson come out and say about me? He said, there are legitimate critics of the neocons like Joe Kent and Vance, but Fuentes is crazy and hateful. He is kooky and an anti-Semite.
Same old shit, different day.
It's the same situation 30 years ago over a different war and the same monologue, canceling what is really the same figure, relatively the same figure in exactly the same way. As I said at the beginning of the show, this is a story of generations. This story, like all stories, is a story of generations, fathers and sons, and cycles and networks, and the rise and fall of nations. So you could say that in the 1990s, there was a different generation of this battle. There were the paleocons and the neocons, just as there are now. Paleocons, America Firsters, and neocons.
Nick also directly addresses the lies Tucker espoused about the CIA and his level of knowledge on his father's involvement.
Oh.
Saying upon digging that they found numerous other instances of his story not adding up.
What else are you lying about? If you lied that you didn't know your dad was CIA, are you lying that you are CIA or the extent of your cooperation with CIA? That was a natural question. But we did more digging over the course of the last week, and we found about half a dozen other clips that Tucker knew and said publicly that his father was involved in the CIA. So
Who's his dad?
I'll play this compilation for you right now.
I'm sorry, I'm really stupid. I don't know.
And we're going to react to it. This is the first clip. It's about 2 minutes, and I'll play this right now. All of this has come to light over the course of the past week, and this is a big reason why I did this show. So here it is.
Okay, his dad passed. Yeah, this is very political. It's a good challenge. Thank you for sending this my way. But I don't know if my reaction will be anything educational. Oh.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
And he's attacking my dad as the CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies, and I learn, actually, yeah, was involved in that world. Shut completely.
Well, usually when you're in a CIA, you don't, not even your family knows, right? Based on all Hollywoods movies.
Really shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
This was in March of this year. And so when I applied to CIA, and I've taken a lot of crap, including from Putin, like, oh, you're from a CIA family. Well, yeah, obviously my father worked in conjunction with CIA. I mean, that's what that.
Why would he tell everyone that he's in the CIA? Like, how did that come up? Did someone scoop it up? Did they, like, expose him? Did they threaten him to expose it, come out with it, so that he could come out with it? Maybe he's, saying his dad's CIA so that he doesn't have to come out with the fact that he's CIA.
That is. And I tried to join the CIA.
He had a bunch of them. He ran the Voice of America for a long time, maybe 5 or 6 years. He was an ambassador in Africa, and then he ran something called the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
I mean, the guy who took out Mossadegh lived on my street. One of the Roosevelt CIA officer. So, I mean, again, I grew up around this stuff, but
that's why it's not happening.
But they seem to be doing so many other things.
He grew up around this stuff. Neighbors change. I mean, nowadays more than ever. Yeah, true, back in the day you could grow up with your neighbors. Yeah, he's lying. I don't believe he didn't know his dad was CIA. He's literally telling us right there that he grew up around it.
Things. I mean, I applied to CIA. My dad worked with CIA. I was never against CIA. I thought only like dumb liberals were against CIA.
My dad worked with CIA. Talk about beating around the bush. Oh, that's embarrassing.
CIA, and traitors or whatever. So my views on CIA have evolved based on things that I have seen and personally experienced.
You took a pretty well publicized trip with your father. Was it about 1.5 years ago? How long has it been?
Since we were in Pakistan.
Down to Nicaragua for the summer and work and, get involved in the war, and support the side that we thought was right.
Where you got left behind for a couple days.
Oh, no, that was when I went to Vietnam with John McCain. Yeah, I had a hassle at the airport.
And are you still traveling with your father on trips?
We spent the summer in Nicaragua trying to get a sense of the war there, and all kinds of hilarity ensued. But yourself, my father's a great guy to travel with and very amusing and adventurous person who's up for anything. So I said, let's go to Pakistan. Okay.
And we have the internet to expose the lies. If this isn't 20 years ago when you were on CNN.
Yeah.
I mean, Pakistan is beautiful. Its environment, the forest, mountains, but not my first choice.
Couldn't expose things. We can expose it now, and they still do it.
Well, I guess I would ask myself, I lie. If I'm really cornered or something, I lie. I try never to lie on TV. I just don't, I don't like lying. I certainly do it, out of weakness or whatever.
This guy's an idiot.
Okay, so that's 2.5 minutes almost of Tucker Carlson over the course of 20 years talking about and getting caught at least in 2, maybe 3 explicit instances saying, my dad was in the CIA. We lived down the street from the CIA officer that overthrew Mossadegh in Iran in 1953. I went to Vietnam with John McCain. I traveled to Pakistan with my father. I traveled to Nicaragua with my friends at the behest of my father. All these different clips paint a very interesting picture. 25 years. Going back to 1999, Tucker is saying, I was traveling internationally with my dad who was in this world, that Voice of America.
Yeah, he was just getting more and more comfortable and too trusting. Dude, that backfired.
And if you pay attention, he says in the Sean Ryan interview, he said, my dad ran Voice of America. That's what that is, the CIA. 2001, 2002, he says, my dad's at Voice of America. He's an ambassador from Seychelles, which is a major hub of the super mob, if you know anything about Seychelles. It's an island off the coast of Africa.
Why does he say Seychelles? It's Seychelles. I love Seychelles. I've been there twice. 3 times.
And so I saw that.
Oh, I almost died on that flight. I hate flying. We hit an air pocket and we just dropped, and then there was a storm. Yeah, it was crazy. Scary times. And that memory is why I don't want to sit in a plane again.
this compilation of clips and I said, something's not right. This is clearly a deep mystery here. Obviously, I was onto something on my show last week.
Nick then moves to highlight just how long this struggle has been occurring, revisiting the remarks that Pat made about the Amen Corner in America and why Tucker attacked him for it then.
So this is the summary. This is from Ron Unz. This will help give you an idea of what was happening at the time and how and why Tucker was weighing in almost 10 years later. It says, quote, this is from the Unz Review. Many leading traditional conservatives expressed very strong reservations about George Bush's Gulf War plans, while the neocons fervently supported the attack against Israel's most dangerous regional rival, Iraq. Pat Buchanan held important positions in both the Nixon and Reagan administrations, and then he was a nationally syndicated columnist with a huge television footprint on Crossfire, the McLaughlin Group, and other popular cable shows. The ADL and other Jewish groups ferociously attacked the pundit when he declared to his national television audience of millions, quote, this is Patrick Buchanan, Capitol Hill is Israeli-occupied territory. This is 35 years ago. Pat Buchanan. There are only two groups that are beating the drums for war in the Middle East. The Israeli Defense Ministry and
How old is Nick Fuentes?
Amen Corner in the United States. The Israelis want this war desperately because they want the United States to destroy the Iraqi war machine. They want us to finish them off. They don't care about our relations with the Arab world. This was in 1990. This is Pat Buchanan in 1990 against the first Bush administration in the first Persian Gulf War, which happened on the Iraqi side of the Persian Gulf. Notice how prescient what he said was then, 35 years ago. That was before 9/11, before the war in Iraq, the invasion and overthrow of Saddam Hussein in 2003, before the global war on terror, before all of it, before social media. Pat Buchanan said Capitol Hill is Israeli-occupied territory. The only people that want the war, the Israeli Defense Ministry, and notably he says the Israeli Defense Ministry's Amen Corner meaning amen, people that will support the Israelis no matter what in Washington. This comment was singled out and became a national controversy. And many of the neocons, both Jews and non-Jews alike, said that when Pat Buchanan said Amen Corner, he meant Jews. Pat Buchanan was insinuating, according to the neocons, that all the Jews in Washington were supporting Israel's war, imputing their motivations, saying that American Jews are Israel first. Imagine that. The article goes on. It says some commentators contended that that latter phrase could be read to mean merely Israel's supporters. But this more benign interpretation was undermined by some of Buchanan's own columns. In one column, written within days of the Amen Corner remark, Buchanan named 4 of those that he had in mind, the Amen Corner. A.M. Rosenthal, the former Assistant Secretary of Defense Richard Pearl, the columnist Charles Krauthammer, and the former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger. The Jewishness of these names contrasted with those of the American soldiers, who, in a subsequent piece, Buchanan said would do the fighting if war came to the Gulf. He said kids with names like McAllister, Murphy, Gonzalez, and Leroy Brown will die in the war in Iraq. So, Buchanan says one day, this war is the doing of the Israeli Defense Ministry. They want America to do our bidding, and they own Capitol Hill. And the only ones that want this war in Iraq are the Israeli government and their supporters in America. Everybody says, well, what's the Amen Corner? That's a dog whistle for American Jews. Some people say, no, he didn't mean American Jews. He just meant like neocons in general, people that support Israel. Buchanan comes over a week later and says, no, when I'm referring to the Amen Corner, I mean these 4 Jews. I mean these Jewish writers and these Jewish guys that work at think tanks and the Jewish people inside the Defense Department. Those are the Amen Corner. Those are the only other people in addition to Israel that support the war. And Buchanan contrasted those names. He said, who supports Israel's war in Iraq? Rosenthal, Krauthammer, Pearl, and Kissinger, all Jews. He said, and who's going to die in the war? He said Leroy Brown, McAllister, Murphy, and Gonzalez. Now, what's the implication? The implication is these Jews in America that love Israel because they're Jewish, they're pushing us into a war that benefits Israel that Americans will die in. Specifically, non-Jewish Americans that are Irish, that are...
That pisses me off. Like, I've been asking, like, why Israel, why? And like, yeah, I know Israeli-Palestinian conflict is going back till, like, I think even 2007. Call me stupid. I'm not from that part of the world. I was only 18 at that time, 16. So I didn't know shit. But now it's like so broadcasted, highlighted. You see Free Palestine literally everywhere. So you finally start asking, and yeah, they're broadcasting it more and more. And okay, this answers. It's just like, why are you doing this, Israel? What the shit? And sadly, he's right. It's not even going to be Israeli soldiers from America. It's going to be all these other innocent. This is what pisses me off the most.
Are white from Appalachia that are Mexican. People with names like McAllister, Gonzalez, and Leroy Brown, they're going to die for people named Rosenthal, Kissinger, and Krauthammer. That was the comment in the early 1990s that got him attacked by the establishment. Those are the comments that Tucker Carlson was referring to.
He's not wrong.
When Tucker says that Pat Buchanan is insinuating that Jews push America into wars that non-Jews are going to die in, that's the remark he was talking about. The Amen Corner, that's the remark he was talking about.
I never thought of it that way. I never knew. Holy, does that ever make sense?
And to Tucker, that is the line between what is acceptable and what is unacceptable. Whether you...
This is really scary.
You say that Jewishness and Judaism has anything to do with the neoconservatives in America, the Israel lobby in America, and Israel bringing us to war in the Middle East for their benefit. The distinction is whether you think it's all ideological or whether you think it has to do with their Jewishness, whether it's essential.
Every business owner with people out in the field needs to know about Connect Team. It works? Oh, like you wouldn't believe it. My team puts it...
That's the...
Of course it's the latter.
Distinction.
This video is purely meant to bring you some of the highlights from the stream, and some things I simply can't cover on YouTube. So I would heavily encourage everyone...
Censored? Okay, last night's America First was a logistical journalistic masterpiece. Nick Fuentes, not only... I want to pronounce it Fuentes, but he says Fentes. He like barely pronounces all the vowels. He just goes Fuentes. Anyway, not only compiled and organized a vast amount of complex information, but delivered it in an unscripted, compelling I'm unscripted, and I don't edit. Extemporaneous monologue. God-given talent that cannot be taught. Oh.
To watch the full thing in its entirety over on Rumble. But what I will leave you with is the resounding message Nick gave to his following if anything were to happen to him.
And my next project, if any of this was unclear or...
What was it? I'll read it to you. Okay, Fuentes gives a dire message to all America First patriots. That's me. I'm not even American. If anything happens to me, this is what you need to do. You need to finish it if I can. Not even death will stop me. Whoa, that's really scary.
If anything were to happen to him.
And my next project, if any of this was unclear or rambly or disorganized, is to take all this information and put it in a documentary. And the only reason that I'm telling you this now is because if anything happens to me, this is what you need to do.
Jesus. Let that sink in. He let that sink in. That's scary. I can't believe he's made peace with that.
The project of the free people of America, the project of American sovereignty, of Christian nationalists, of anybody that cares about our independence, as the 1776 movement, as the new American Revolution, is to, just as they started newspapers and campus groups and book clubs and published books and made movies, we need to expose what they are doing in the same way. And the reason I'm telling you all this now is so that you can finish it if I can't. Because I won't even let death stop me from bringing attention to what is going on here. It's that important.
There is no stopping what is coming. Tucker can't stop it. Candace can't stop it. Nobody can. And once again, as evidenced by Charlie Kirk deleting an entire stream because someone asked him to debate Nick,
Charlie Kirk just took down the live stream after their TPUSA, Turning Point, USA chapter president asked him to debate Nick Fuentes. This is what happens when you try to go back and watch the stream where the question... I mean, Charlie Kirk takes down a lot of his videos. Like, when he's looking weak and losing, he'll take those down. There's a few of them that he's taken down. Something went wrong.
the writing is on the wall for Con Inc. The coming months will be painful for a lot of people, as they have to watch their favorite pundits be exposed for the grifters and shows they are. But
yeah, I'm reading this. I love the comments. It's a short video, so why not? Tucker made the case that Fuentes is a Fed. Oh. Tucker lied about his dad being in the CIA and Candace because he wanted it to look like only a CIA plant Fuentes would have that insider knowledge about his dad. Oh. I assume most of his audience accepted his explanation and won't bother listening to Nick Fuentes. However, the rest of us who looked into it now know that Tucker is full of it. Let's like that. I doubt Tucker will be interviewing Nick anytime soon. Tucker's whole thing at Fox, but then leaving. Oh, is that where I saw him? Okay, makes sense. And on podcast, pushing larger audience now is all manufactured. He does decent interviews, but as audience, you should always think, why do they want me to know this information? Fuentes is clearly a Fed, though. Look at his actions on January 6th. How many days in prison did he get? Oh, what? What happened? Nick does the... I don't know what happened. Oh, I feel like so uneducated. To be fair, Nick does more damage to the right than good. There seems to be a good move, big move, to fracture the right at the moment, and Nick's getting pushed a whole lot lately, more than I've ever seen. I'm not a fan of Nick, but his hands freak me out. But people need to quit attacking him for being a virgin. Last time I checked, being a virgin is a good thing, folks. Is he? Like, how is that relevant, though? The fact that you don't think so is why this country is so screwed up. Grew up, people. Why are we talking about that? That's so random. I hate the way Tucker says, and he's attacking my dad. Trying to sound like he's some innocent, naive young man. He makes my skin crawl. I've been going to Capitol Hill a lot. I can attest that there are more Israeli flags there than American. America, you guys, I love how patriotic you are. It was always so cool for me to fly to the US and spend my layovers there. Like, yeah, that flag is so beautiful, and you see it on people's lawns. Like, you don't see this in Canada. Now they're pushing it on us because they're like, oh, you're proudly Canadian. Buy Canadian. Support Canadian small businesses. Canada, because, tariffs and, we're in the shitter. But anyway, there are a couple of representatives that wear full Israeli military uniforms on Capitol Hill. Oh, I encourage everyone to go there and see for yourself. You will be utterly shocked. We are truly an occupied information. Oh my god, agua was such a bad call. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I don't edit my videos. I mean, I don't cut, but I do add things as of lately, as of the last 3. But anyway, that's scary to think that, yeah, maybe even Trump, who's all about freedom, is not so free. Huh. Completely at the whims of Israel, and we are complicit with Israel in the genocide in Gaza. God, help us and forgive us our transgressions. Literally, everything you listed here isn't true, except for maybe half of one. What a fuck, man. We need to protest elections. I'll take things that never happened. Please go there and find out for yourselves. That's scary. I wouldn't know. I have no opportunity to go there. Yeah, no more wars on behalf of Israel. That's crazy. I never looked at it that way. This is so cool. Thank you for suggesting me this, because my brain just kind of like expanded on this side. You know, like, you know when you get like a pimple? That's what my brain just did. And then it's just going to keep growing from here on. So thank you. All right. Well, I think that's it for my captions. I don't have much to say. This was more educational to me than anything. I had no idea who this guy was. Tucker Carlson looks so familiar, but it was my first time seeing Nick Fuentes. Anyway, it's crazy that they're all in with like the same loop as Candace Owens. But yeah, thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Like, comment if you have more to add to this and to inform me on more. I hope this guy is okay. It looks like his like whole YouTube is gone. If he was podcasting on YouTube, like you can't find anything on him. This was like literally the best I could do. And yeah, like what the heck? Do you guys believe that he didn't know that his dad's a CIA? And do you believe that America's owned by Israel? I mean, I have to say my dad has been saying that since I was a little girl. But about New York, where he's like, the Jews, actually he said it about Hollyweird as well. Like the Jews own Hollywood. The Jews own New York. And I was always like, well, Dad. And look, my dad wasn't wrong. It's that Polish gut instinct. We've gone through the war, communism, people wiped us off the map for 100 years. We can smell the bullshit and see right through it. Anyway, yeah, I believe that Israel needs to cut the shit out. Cut it out. And stop involving people in your mess, government. Shit. Anyway, I'll be back for another one tomorrow. I like this. You can get me to react to more of these because I feel like I'm growing up a little bit, adulting. Anyway, see you.